maybe different now that you have 10 days for the next game?
I just, again, it gives us some practice time because the last time, we decided to give the players time off. So now we have some practice time. So hopefully our rhythm will be a little bit sharper. I thought in the Salt Lake game, I watched the game twice yesterday. I didn't think it was, I don't think it was a shellacking by any stretch of the imagination. But I thought our sharpness in the final third, our final passes, wasn't as good or with the quality that it needed to be. But overall, up till then, I thought it was okay.
Do you look back on that and kick yourself over anything, or do you feel like you played it about how you'd play it the same?
No, I mean, obviously Lamar got hurt about 10 minutes into the game. He went into a tackle with Grabavoy and felt his hip flexor a little bit. We don't think it's extreme. He tried to play through it in the first half, tried to come out in the second half, and we pulled him out early, so he wasn't really sharp. I think it was just a matter of, again, the coordination of Oba and Eddie in relationship to each other because they hadn't played together in a while, So, could you have done something different? You always look at things and say, could I have done this differently or that differently, and maybe that would have changed things. But overall, I thought the three of them place changed fairly well. I didn't think Beckerman was much of a factor at all in the first half until he scored the goal. And, I thought, even though they had shots, and we didn't have any shots, I'm not taking anything away from that. We didn't have any shots. We didn't create anything near their goal. We were close a couple of times where, Leo hits the ball too hard for Eddie or else Eddie's in. Oba leads Nagel too far or else he's in. Nagel one time has Oba, misses him by 5 yards or else he's in. So you had those kind of opportunities. But at the end of the day, they didn't have anything clean either in the first half up until the goal. So, but it was one of those, and we have to learn our lessons. We got to be better on set pieces for sure.
Even for the infusion of talent, did it feel like maybe there was some shoehorning of the new guys coming back without much training with your team?
From the fact of not training, so I think the type of play that you have to do as a wide player, and the way international games are, on one hand they're more tactical, but on the other hand they're also slower. And, so there's more emphasis on possession. There's less dynamic running off the ball sometimes. And when you get back in the league play, there's a little more of that. And so the running you got to do up front is different than the running you do wide. So maybe not enough time to integrate that.
Do you still feel reasonably good about the promise that Oba, Eddie, and Lamar kind of
Yeah, I think we can get all three of them on the field and be successful, yeah.
What's kind of the plan with, I guess, Brad, Eddie, and Mario?
Well, I wanted to give them some time off because all the other guys had time off, and I think they needed some time off as well. So I had already told them before the Salt Lake game, come in, play the Salt Lake game, then after Salt Lake we'll give you some days off.
Have any decisions been made about Mario?
It's still negotiation, yeah.
You got Eric Zavaleta back. What did he need to learn during his 2 games?
Well, he might be going back. There's still some more games that he can pick up there. So his loan stint is not over at this point. But for him to get 90 minutes is important. He played 2 90-minute games, and he's got a chance to get 2 or 3 more. So we want to try and see if we can get him those 2-3 more games.
Set pieces get kind of grouped together, even though I'm sure it's a bunch of different scenarios. But what kind of goes into defending set pieces, and maybe what have been some of the breakdowns that you guys have had conceding?
Well, one is, the goal that Beckerman scores, if you give him that shot 10 times, I don't think he puts it in the net 10 times for sure. It's probably a very small percentage, but take nothing away from it. He hit it well, and it's right under the crossbar. But it was at there was somebody who didn't do their assignment on that one. We needed one more player back. So we just got to make sure that people, understand what their assignments are on that and make sure they do them. So it means we'll train them a little bit more conscientiously. At the end of the day, though, then you can have all your matchups right and everything else, like Sabario's header that just goes wide, so he out jumps Jimmy. There's nothing you can do differently on the chalkboard and draw it up. At the end of the day, it comes down to a duel between one player and another. But, you got to make sure people have their assignments. You got to make sure that we get people back and we understand the time of the game. That set pieces occur. You maybe defend it a little bit differently in the 15th minute versus the 44th minute.
Even though the score lines were kind of the same, it sounds like you're much more pleased with this Salt Lake game than the previous one?
Yeah, generally when we play Salt Lake, usually possession is like in the high 50% for them, you know, maybe even in the low 60s, and because they're the kind of team that's their emphasis. And this game, I think it was like 52-48 or something like that, you know. So I think our ability to possess the ball was much better. I didn't think they really possessed the ball a lot. I think the last 20-25 minutes, I think they certainly dominated the game and had more of the game, but that's a point where we're down 2-0. We're starting to take some risks. We're starting to push people forward. We made some changes, you know, but we need guys, you know, I mean, Rosales needs to get more touches than he got in the 70 minutes he played, and we need to do a better job of sustaining pressure in the attacking end of the field.
You talked about the kind of that lack of pressure on the attacking third. I mean, 2 shots, it's got to be frustrating. You guys, you know, you obviously you did miss some chances, you know, some chances to connect, but do you go back and look at that, and are you frustrated that you're not able to create more sustained pressure?
It wasn't good enough. We got to be able to sustain pressure. We got to be able to maintain possession in the attacking third of the field. We got to have people play and move off the ball at that stage, and then there's got to be you know, quality of passing, and so that was a part of it for us. That I think the quality was good through the first 2/3 of the field, and then for some reason the last third of the field there was more hit and miss, and we needed to do a better job there.
How good of an indicator do you think shots taken is?
It's not always an indicator, you know. It's about creating. It's about creating chances, you know. I mean, I remember having a team, we got outshot every game, and we finished something like 18-1-2, you know. But if we had 6 shots, we'd get 3 goals. The other team would have 18, and they get 0 goals. And so, you know, I mean, it depends. If guys are hitting shots, like their shots in the first half of their 8 shots, I think Beckerman's shot was inside the box, and I think there might have been one other shot that was in, or none. He's saying none. All the other 7 shots were, you know, 20 yards or so out, and that's not going to bother us. You know, it's not going to hurt us unless a guy's getting a really open look, you know, where you leave Stevenson with a really good open look, and I think there was one good open look we left somebody with, and that was it. You know, so to take shots that are just, you know, hopeful or just to pad the stats doesn't make any sense. But on the same token, 2 shots is not enough, and we needed to sustain pressure and create chances and do better there.
You said earlier that Morrow didn't get enough touches. What do you do to get him more touches in the attacking third?
I mean, the team needs to find him. He needs to find the ball. You know, it's a combination of both things. You know, so you know, we need to do a better job of finding him, and you know, we got to make sure he gets into positions where we can find him. But part of it is our ability to, again, I sound like a broken record, our ability to maintain possession in the final third of the field would have got him more touches.
What did you think you saw enough out of, or you've seen enough out of Mario from a playing perspective to justify bringing him back, and is it more of a financial decision whether or not?
Yeah, I mean, our decision, we're clear on what we want to do. It's just a matter of whether it's going to work out financially. You know, it's a league that has a salary cap, so that's something we have to consider when we do any of these negotiations.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Good. Thanks.
I'm Kyle Beckerman.
I'm Landon Donovan.
I'm Dwayne DiRosario.
We love soccer. We train hard, we play hard, and we support with passion.
When it comes to discrimination, we don't cross the line.
No bullying, no racism, no sexism, no homophobia. No excuses, no exceptions.
Don't cross the line. If you're playing, training, supporting, or coaching, don't cross the line.